Welcome back to the Sooner Surge, and I'm sure you've all seen the announcement with Williams Nwaneri. Before we get started on this video, though, make sure you click subscribe there. Continue to comment and like. I cannot believe just how great you guys are doing with the likes and the comments. We really appreciate all of you guys, our viewers. Share this with other people, other OU fans. Get the word out. Sooner Surge, rocking with the content on good days and bad days. And the announcement has been made. Williams Nwaneri commits to Missouri. And I know a lot of fans are thinking, man, what does this mean for the program? And look, I'll start by saying that I don't think BV and staff, I don't know how to word this. I think they preach culture over money bags, till they're blue in the face. And in the end, I think the money won out. But what's this mean for OU football right now, Jay?
Well, I mean, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Until they land a 5-star defensive lineman, I think all the people that think, OU's in on these guys that are 5-star, they may be in on them, but they're not getting them yet. Okay, and until they do, I'm a little bit worried about SEC until OU can get some defensive linemen up front that are just studs, okay? And I'm talking 5-star. They got PJ last year, huge get, but and Nwaneri I know is on the outside. So I think that the positive coming out of this, if you want to look at any positive, because I don't think there's much, because you lost him to Missouri, and I know he's from the area, but the positive would be you got guys like Okoye that's an edge rusher that you can still get. But to me, if you do not land Stone now, I'm just saying, if you do not land Stone, I'm really worried going to SEC, and that's because the reason is because Nwaneri and Stone, as far as proximity to OU, there's not many of those defensive tackles and defensive linemen 5-star that are from this area. Most of them, are more down south. Let's be honest, and end up at Georgia or Alabama. So to have the opportunity to get these guys, and if they can't land them, that's where I think they'll be hurting. And Jeremy, you mentioned the money thing, and I understand where you're saying. I understand you're saying culture over money, and we don't know all the specifics on what happened. We did a live last night, and a lot of the guys on the Surge still felt okay that OU would get another pitch, maybe to win Nwaneri, and doesn't, it just didn't happen. Not even sure OU got a pitch, to be honest with you. Or maybe, like you said, Jeremy, maybe Venable said, this is what we're offering as far as our NIL, our culture, our soul mission. Do you want to come to OU or not? And maybe he chose Missouri. And you know what? Like I said last night, if he chose Missouri because that's where he wants to play and that's where he wants to play football, I honestly have no beef with him. Go to Missouri. Like that's great for you. You're getting paid. You're going to go play for a hometown area. I'm not going to be an OU fan that's going to bash the kid for doing that. Okay. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. And look, I don't know what staff, if they had a pitch last night, what all they threw at the kid. But I think knowing what I do about Brent Venables, okay, is he's not going to waver in his beliefs and what he stands for. And, I think that he's not going to wait around. Now, they do know that they got two other big fish, big old fish to go get in David Stone and Danny Okoye.
And you got McKinley too.
You got McKinley as well. There's plenty of other guys. Plus, they didn't lose this guy to the Bama. He didn't go to Bama or Georgia. So there is that, but it is upsetting that he went to Missouri. Okay, you think OU would beat them out if they're in the final two. And you're right. You have to land. I think you got to land two of those three guys, Stone, McKinley, and Okoye. But Stone, I think, is one you have to land. And then get one of the other two. I would love. But what you said, Jay, is spot on because they're in your backyard. That's the difference. These guys aren't coming from Florida. This is Lee Summit, Missouri. David Stone, pretty much right in your backyard. Danny Okoye in your backyard. So these are guys you have to get. And look, I'll change tune also if they can land Stone. We know Stone, kind of in the whole scheme of things, was kind of the biggest one they wanted. I think maybe even over Nwaneri early on. Would you agree with that?
Well, I just think because, I mean, he's been to OU
Interior.
so many. Yes, I mean, and he's interior. You're right about that. And, you also mentioned Nigel Smith. Nigel Smith is committing on September 8th, and he's another one. But here's the deal. I mean, at what point, and I'm not bashing any, because me and Jeremy here, we're not like recruiting insiders, okay? We're just going to tell it like it is. We're not. And I'm not going to, at some point, though, as OU fans, do we get numb to the fact that we're feeling good about getting these guys? I mean, I'm going to be honest, and this is what I'm just going to tell you what I feel is that every time anybody says OU is in a good spot or leads on a 5-star defensive lineman, I'm a little cautious.
Yeah,
and it's not bashing the recruiting guys at all. I think,
no.
in fact, I think they could be told that OU isn't a good spot. But the reality is, are they? Because this is just a wild theory. Could OU be getting played in some of these 5-star things to raise the money for the other side? I know we all say Missouri's raising the money for OU. So could it be the other way around?
Oh, it very well could have been. And I mean, look, you've said it on here before when some of our guys will maybe talk about OU in a good spot. I remember you kind of just waved the caution flag, the yellow light there. And as a Sooner fan, until they land a 5-star interior lineman, and we know Nwaneri was an edge rusher, I get it, and Stone has not decided yet. His decision is coming soon. A guy who's visited OU so many times, basically it's his second home. If you don't land David Stone, there is major cause, I think, for concern of why can OU not land these guys?
Yeah, I would agree. I think, and here's the thing. Here's the hard part is we're sitting here on August 14th. So we got 12 more days till Stone commits. And I don't know about you, Jeremy, but the last 5 days of this Nwaneri commitment has been just, I mean, if you're on Twitter, it's just it's a roller coaster. All the OU fans are just, when something crystal ball comes out about Nwaneri, it's like all the OU fans, they just jump off the deep end. I mean, and I get it, but maybe in fact, I'm going to go into this Stone one next 12 days. I'm not going to be looking like OU's in a great spot at all. I'm just going to, I'm flat out honest with you. I'm not even going to pay attention until that day, and just hopefully he commits to OU.
Yeah, and I mean he's the one you have to land. And the sad thing about this Nwaneri one is he's in contact with guys that are going to be at OU. So and for him to they still couldn't close the deal on that. And
that's the frustrating part, Jeremy, is like you said, we all, and who knows how much is true, but we all know the relationships with the coaches was great from what we've heard. We know that there are multiple players from Lee Summit, Missouri, from his team that have committed to OU. Okay? So OU is in a better program than Missouri, right? So the only thing, I mean, it just doesn't, the fact they didn't land them, obviously, I guess it's proximity and NIL package, because of Missouri was able to get, the extra 3 months here of payments, I think is probably what maybe won him over.
Yeah, and look, as Sooner fans, because Jay and I are Sooner born, Sooner bred. I mean, we've been Sooner fans for a whole long time, and compared to maybe some of the youngins, and it's something that OU really hasn't had the interior D lineman, really the 5-star consistently. And like you said, Adebari, getting him was huge. Okay. And there's been some other great recruits. What we're not saying right now, guys, is that OU's dead in the water. No one's saying that. I trust BV and staff. I still do. I trust their coaching. I trust what he's put in place with the culture. But it is a little disappointing that they missed out on another 5-star, because going to the SEC, you have to have those dudes in the middle, because everything else won't matter if you don't have the dudes in the middle. So you set your sights now on David Stone. Sooner fans to go after David Stone, to get excited about getting David Stone. But as Jay said, there's a little caution in the wind over here until OU can land these guys. And you got football season coming up in about 2.5 weeks. Stone's commitment's coming up in about 12 days. So there's still a lot of.
Hey, on the Stone thing, I'd love for the viewers in here to put their percentages of how they're feeling on Stone. Okay. And this is just for me to kind of hear where the viewers are. Cause obviously you can hear the insiders on radio and podcasts or whatever, and they tell you their opinion, and that's great. But how are the OU fans feeling about Stone? I'd be interested to know, are we feeling like 98, 100%? I mean, it's, when you look on Twitter, it's pretty high. And, we saw Hayes Fawcett put that graphic out yesterday with Nwaneri, Stone, and McKinley, and how many will OU land? Okay. I just hope Hayes is not trolling OU here. I hope he's not doing that, knowing they're not going to get any. I mean, that would be.
We'll know in 12 days because and when is McKinley set to announce?
September 1st, I believe.
So really, in the next 2 weeks, next 2.5 weeks, OU's really going to know, and that's right before the season starts. Get all that out of the way, and of course, signing day is not that soon. So we know there's some things that can change, but this was just to put out here, guys, that we've lost Nwaneri, it seems, at least on the commitment side, and of course, no one knows what's going to happen before signing day, but. Again, this raises questions, I think, as Sooner fans. At Sooner Surge, we're here to just really give our raw emotions and feedback on this and what's to come. We would love to hear your comments as well.
Yeah, so, and Jeremy, I would just encourage all viewers, anybody that gets on Twitter today, the bashing of Williams Nwaneri that's his prerogative to go to Missouri. I am just urging people not to bash him, okay? Or don't bash all the insiders, because listen, it's their job to find sources and to put it out there. Okay. And if OU fans fall under the fact that it's a book it every time they put something out there and it's not going to change, I think that's a wrong way to take it. I mean, anybody says can change, because the person committing is the high school kid. It's not the ones putting the sources out, putting the information out there. And an 18-year-old kid and their family can change their mind on the fly. They can be feeding information to sources. Who knows? There's so much involved. Okay. That's the world we live in today with Twitter and with all the recruiting insider boards. It's a lot different than it used to be. Didn't used to get all that information until after the fact and a book came out. Okay. So just as an OU fan, let's be good on Twitter today. Let's be positive. And not bash the kid. And, let's not affect any other recruits coming to Oklahoma.
You're right. And I don't think you can really bash the staff, because everything that I've heard, they've done everything they could. And at the end, the kid chose Missouri. But OU's got a lot of great things coming. Season's around the corner. Let's be positive. Let's keep pushing and being Sooner fans that you guys all are. Subscribe to our channel, Sooner Surge, if you have not, as we continue to provide content like this. And I think there's exciting things still around the corner, though, especially with the season coming on us and the great staff we have here. So until next time, guys, Boomer.